Before we get started on how to round numbers in chemistry, I wanted to make sure that we had a background in what scientific notation looks like. Okay, so let's say you have a number like 1001. If you wanted to express that number in scientific notation, all you would need to do is pretend that there's a decimal point at the end of the number and move it over until it is right in between one digit and one digit afterwards. This would make your number look like 1.001, and then you have to make sure that you add the multiplication portion of the scientific notation, which is basically a 10 to the whatever number of places that you moved over. In this case, that's 3. So we would have 1.001 times 10 to the 3. This also works for really small numbers, like 0.00012. In this case, we would want to move our decimal over so that it's in between one digit and then all the digits afterwards. 1, 2, 3, 4 times in this case. So we would write this number 1.2 times 10 to the negative 4. The negative indicates that the number is smaller. In chemistry, it's also really important to look at numbers that may or may not have their zeros after you put them into scientific notation. For example, let's look at the number 150. If this was 150 grams or something that's measurable, we may not include that last zero in scientific notation. So we would pretend there was a decimal, move the decimal over twice, and then our real number in scientific notation would be 1.5 times 10 to the 2. If the 150 had a decimal, we would include the 0 at the end. So if that looked like 150 with a decimal at the end, we would write 1.50 times 10 to the 2. And that's all you really need to know about scientific notation.